Good afternoon and welcome to my Facebook Live today. My name is Michelle Jadrissa and I'm an independent demonstrator of Stampin' Up in the southern parts of New South Wales, the Southern Highlands just below Sydney in Australia. So again, welcome today. Let me just find us very quickly on my tablet. I think I have us there. Yes, I do. Got my volume down. So pop that there. Please leave a comment. Let me know that you're on and you're watching. If you're someone who hasn't been on before, please let me know who you are and where you're from. I'd love to say hello. All the products that I'm using today are from Stampin' Up, and you can purchase those products through my store at michellejutrissa.stampinup.net. If you have any questions, please ask. If I don't see your comments today, I will get back to them after the video has finished. Hi Shelley, how are you? Lovely to see you. Okay, so I'm just going to flip my camera over so we can have a look at what we're going to be doing today and a couple of little things that I need to just get my words out, discuss with you. So won't be one moment, I'll just flip this camera. Okay, the first thing I want to share with you today is our mini catalogue, our new mini catalogue, the July to December catalogue. Unfortunately, this has been put back a month, so it isn't available until August. So I'll just have the correct one showing, sorry. But if you want a copy, I can't show you what's on the inside. I can tell you, though, there are some beautiful products in there relating to Christmas and holidays, so forth. So there are some really nice things to get your hands on. And as soon as I get some of my products in, I will show them to you. But this catalogue will actually be starting in August. So if you don't have a copy of it and you wish to get a copy, please let me know if you're in Australia and I will get one out to you. Oh, there's a few people watching today. Hi Robin, hi Anita, how are you? Along with that, we have our celebration catalogue, which starts on the 3rd of August. The way the celebration works is when you purchase products to the value of $90, you get a product for free. If you've purchased products up to the value of $180, then you can choose a higher option product or get 2 for $90. We'll discuss that a lot more when we get closer to all of this starting, but I just wanted to let you know these catalogues are now available. I do have to wait a little bit to get the celebration catalogues, but as soon as I have them, I can post them out to you. So if you want a copy, let me know and I can get them to you. What else we have happening this month is our Designer Series paper sale has started. So Stampin' Up have chosen a range of Designer Series paper, or DSP as we call it, and you can purchase these with a 15% discount. So as I said before, head over to michellejutrissa.stampinup.net and you'll see all the products, all the papers that they have chosen today to use for this sale. So there's 9 there, and there's some really lovely designs there, and good bargains to have, to stock up with. So what I thought we'd do today is we're going to have a look at one of these papers and we're going to make a card just to show you some of the things that you can do with these papers. So this card we're going to make today is more paper related rather than doing a lot of stamping. Bear with me and we'll get started and I'll show you what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be using the hand penned papers. So they come in a 12 by 12 papers. I don't know whether I've got them handy. I didn't pull them out. Let me just have a look up here. Yep, there they are. So 12 by 12. So as you can see, I'm starting working through mine. I may have to order myself some more. So you've got all these beautiful Designer Series paper. So this is in one of the papers that are in your 15% off. And there's another one there, and this one here is flipped over, so you've got, they're double-sided, so you've got all those beautiful Designer Series papers there. And then if I take this out and flip it over, you can see all the lovely coordinating papers that you can use there on the back. So we're going to make a card using this beautiful range of paper. You just pop all these back into here, so all nice, neat and tidy. And we'll get these out of the road. Whoops, throw it away. Yes, that's the right thing to do. Okay, so that's down there. So of course with our designer series papers we also have the coordinating stamp sets, and this one also comes with coordinating dies as well. So there's quite a lot in this suite, but as I said, if you just wish to purchase the paper on its own today or for this month, you'll get it with 15% discount off. Okay, so let's get started on our card, and let me show you the colors and the designs we're going to be using. So I'm going to go through all our measurements and everything here. I will put all our measurements and everything on my blog when I blog this over the weekend, and I will also be posting this on my YouTube channel, which if you'd like to pop over to that and subscribe, I'd be very grateful. So our card base, I'm using Highland Heather, and I've cut that at 10.5 by 29.9, and I've scored it at 14.9 centimeters. So we're just going to take this and fold it in half and grab the bone folder and score that. Okay, so that's our card base all ready to go. Now I've chosen 3 of the designs out of the designer series paper to use, and I've chosen the green drawn background, and that piece is 7 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters. Then I've also chosen the yellow. I'm sorry, I should give you the correct names for all of these colors. Let me have a look. Okay, this one here is mint macaron, and then we also have in this one the daffodil delight, and then that's the floral that I've decided to go with that one. So I didn't put the measurements on this piece here. I'll measure this up. This is the Beauty Bay grid paper. We can very easily do it. It's 12.5 centimeters by 7. So this one here is 7 by 14.4. Then we have 7 by 12.5. Then we have our floral designer series paper, which is 6.5 by 10. And then I also have 2 pieces to mat our floral. I've got a piece of basic white, which is 7 by 10.5, and a piece of Highland Heather, which is 6.7 by 10.2 centimeters. And then I also have another little piece of basic white, which we're going to use for our sentiment, and I've cut that using the scallop die from the Scallop Contours dies. So this is this little one here. So that is from the Scallop Contours dies. So that's how I got that little piece there. So let's now put this card together, and we'll do our stamping towards the end. So I'm just going to move all of these to one side, and we're going to start with this piece here first. So we're just using multi-purpose glue. I like to use multi-purpose glue because it does allow the cardstock to slip into position, whereas if I find sometimes if I use the seal, if I get it in the wrong spot, then that's where it's stuck. So I've just put a little bit of that on there. Don't want to put too much because we don't want it oozing out. Now I've allowed for about 2.5 millimeter allowance around the sides, so we're just going to pop that on there. And just move that into position. Sorry, I just need to get a wipe. Got a little bit of glue on my fingers. Just remove that. Sorry about that. So we're just going to flip that over and just give that a good press, just to make sure all that glue is pushed out to all the sides. Okay, so next we're going to take our piece of Daffodil Delight and we're going to adhere that onto our card. And again, I'm taking that right across, that will dry in a minute, to about 2.5 millimeters on the other side. Now you could have your scallop going up or going down. I think we're going to have it going that way. So you can choose which way you want your scallop to look, whether you want it to look like scallops or like waves. It's a fairly simple sort of card to do, and because you're using a lot of designer series paper, you're allowing that to become the main focal point and of your card, but also too it makes your card making work will come together a lot quicker because you don't have as much stamping. I tend to get very involved in colouring techniques and so forth, so it's good sometimes just to do a card that is a little bit quicker and simpler. So there's our, just move that out of the road. That's so far. Now we need to mat up these three pieces here. So we've got our Highland Heather and our basic white, and we're going to pop the Highland Heather on top of our basic white. It's got little bits of paper everywhere today with all of those there. Again, just put a little bit of adhesive on that. We're just going to adhere this one. Now there's only a very thin border around, so this is where that multi-purpose glue becomes really handy, because we've only just got tiny weeny little border all the way around. Now we're going to take our designer series paper, and when I cut this out, I actually looked at my flowers and so forth, and I really love this flower with its petals going down, so I really wanted that to be the focal point. So I did take a look at the paper before I cut it out to work out where I wanted to cut and what I wanted to be a little bit of a feature on this card. So we'll put some more adhesive on that. Pop that onto there as well. And that's going to go just about there, but I've just had a bit of an idea. So bear with me one second while I find some baker's twine. So I've just got some white baker's twine. Now this is a fairly old pack I've got here, but you can purchase it in our catalogue, and it comes in a set of 4. So you've got I think you've got a white, you've got a very vanilla, just have a look. So what you would get is your black, very vanilla, I think it's a basic grey, could be smoky slate, and crumb cake, and then normally you would have a white one in there as well, but good thing not to have drinks on your table when you're working. I sort of spilt mine, and the white Whisper basic white that I had didn't survive, so probably not a good idea to have drinks around. So what I'm going to do is just wrap that around that a few times. Usually I like to do it about 3 times. Make sure I've got enough there to tie a bow. Such a pretty paper, this one. Just going to move that along a little bit. And I find tying bows upside down, that's the top of my card, I get my tails and my bows in the position that I want. Let me just move that along there a little bit because I want that onto that side. Now you could put a glue dot underneath where you're tying your bow if you're worried about it moving around too much. And that will just help holding it in position, but I think I should be able to do this without having to do that. Let me just... There we go. So there's my bow. Can play with this a little bit. You can make your bow a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. And that's going to go about there. And then our sentiment. I might just see if I can move that just along a little bit. So what happens when you just decide at the last minute you want to change things. My sentiment is going to sit around about there. Okay, so the sentiment that I thought we might use today, I'm going to take from the hand penned, and I'm going to use the thanks. So I'll just grab that from here. Line that up. And I'm going to use Highland Heather ink. Just very lightly tap that onto your ink pad. Don't push down because otherwise your ink will just ooze up all over. Test it on your scratch paper first to make sure. Might just work around the sides here. Sometimes if you're stamping here in the middle all the time, what happens is the ink gets pushed out to the side, so it becomes a lot lighter in the middle. It also could be that this ink pad might need re-inking, but I think it's just been pushed out. And to fix that up, you just get a spoon, and using the back of a spoon, and actually I might have one here so I can show you. Yep, here's one. So just use the back of a spoon. This is an old plastic one that I just keep in my drawer, and you can just push that ink around on your stamp pad. And you can do this too when you re-ink your pad as well. And then clean that spoon off later on and use it again. So let's just re-ink that up again. Stamping this into the middle. Beautiful. Close it up before I put my fingers in. So that is going to sit just about there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back. This one, some large dimensionals. We carry dimensionals in two different sizes, so you've got both your little mini dimensionals, which are just tiny little ones, and then we have your larger ones as well. So we're just going to pop a few dimensionals onto the back of your card. Oh, hi Sharon, how are you? Hi Sherry and Bryony, wonderful to see you all today. Glad you're all able to join me. And I'm just going to pop one in the middle there just to make sure it's supported. Just peel all these backings off. and position that around about the middle of our card, just like that. Okay, so now I can see where those are, so I'm just going to trim those little tails off. See if we can get this bow just to maybe turn around in another slightly different direction. That's okay like that. Might just shorten that one just a little bit more. Pop a couple of dimensionals again onto the back of our sentiment. And straight over the top of that. Beautiful. Oops, let me just lift that up a little bit. Unfortunately, I've got it going over the top of, I might just take these off. I'm having one of those days today. I think what I need to do is actually put my dimensionals on either side of that baker's twine. See, this is what happens when I change my mind and then part of me is going with the old decisions. Actually, I'm going to use these mini ones so I can pop these on either side. So when this, hopefully I'll have my baker's twine actually running down in between rather than having my dimensional sitting on top of my baker's twine. It'll all work out in the end and no one will know the difference but you and me and the man on the flying horse, as my mother would have said. Let's see if we can get this to sit a little bit flatter. Oh, that's better. I'm happier with that. It was sitting, I don't know whether you could notice before, but it was sitting a little bit wonky. Just wasn't happy. It just had too many ups and downs. Okay, so that's a lot better. Now, the only thing I haven't thought about, and we're going to, what you can do, and I haven't got it ready, unfortunately, but you can just leave that like that in the middle to write your message to whoever you want to give it to, or you could cut a piece of basic white to go on the inside there. Unfortunately, my camera stand is stopping me from grabbing hold of my basic white. So I can't get, oh yes I can. I'll use this. Gotta finish off this card properly. So I've got a piece of basic white now. And let me just grab my trimmer. So our basic white is an A4. And I'm just going to cut it straight down in half. So I've just cut it at 10.5. And I like to always cut it into quarter sheets for this, and then I trim it down again a little bit more. So I'm going to trim this down to 10. By 14.4, which is a good size to go on the inside of your card. And what I think also we might do is we'll grab an envelope. Got one here. And we're going to decorate this as well, because if we're going to be using Designer Series paper, let's use it. So what I want to do on here is just trim this off. So I've got a whole lot of Designer Series paper here that I've already cut down to card front sizes. And I just want to put, so that's the colour we're using. I just want to put a strip across there. So I've always got lots of little bits and pieces. I tend to keep a few of these little bits and pieces because you never know when they're going to come in handy. You're really getting an insight today to the way I work and sometimes think. Okay, so that's going to go across there. So that's our piece to go on the bottom of our card insert, and I'm just going to trim that little bit off there because that's that little bit too long. Got our card. Let's pop that inside. Now our Designer Series paper is also excellent for scrapbooking because it is your 12 by 12. So if you're into doing scrapbooks, that is really good for that. Move that, still got a little bit of dampness in that, I can move that down a bit. So there's the insert of our card. Now what can we do with this envelope? How can we make this envelope look lovely? So let's maybe put a piece of cardstock on there as well, and we might use the same color as we just used. So we could, no, that's not big enough. Let's see if I've got a bigger piece. Is that one going to work? Yes, it is. Okay, so we're just going to put a piece onto the back of our flap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just opening that envelope out like that, and I'm just going to put some adhesive just around the edge. Don't put it on too thick. We don't want it oozing out too much. And then we're just going to adhere that to that, and I'm just moving it a little bit. There's my fold there, so I'm just taking it a little bit below that fold, just so then I don't have a whole lot of thickness sitting on my fold. Press that all down. Okay, we're finished with the glue now. Put it in on that so it doesn't dry out. And then all we do is just trim around following that line of the envelope flap. In the box, that scrap can be used at some stage or other. There is our envelope and our coordinating card. So there you go, that's today's card. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Just let me flip the camera over again. It won't be one moment. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's inspired you to maybe grab some Designer Series paper and make some cards. And it's a brilliant time to stock up and get those papers, whether you're using them for scrapbooking or for card making. You can make all sorts of things with them. With it, it's fantastic, and the designs that they're stamping up are beautiful, and they coordinate so well together. So I hope I'll see you all again next Friday at 1 o'clock. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.